A woman can't change a man because she loves him. A man will change himself because he loves her. And in reality, because he loves himself enough to also want to be better. Be better for him, be better for her, be better for the relationship. But the reality is that so many women get involved with men hoping for things to get better, hoping that this man will finally turn that corner, hoping that he will finally walk into his true potential as she sees it. But unfortunately, for many women, that does not come to pass. And instead, women get dragged, drained, and I hate to say it, but destroyed with these relationships, dealing with men who were never truly best for them. So I want you to understand you can't change them, but not just understand you can't change them, understand why you can't change them. Why this is not the approach you need to be taking with any man. Number one is because he sees nothing wrong with who he is and what he does. Listen, let me say this real quick. One, there's another saying that they say, men marry hoping women will stay the same, and women marry hoping the man will change. All right. And I think that there's this, some could argue, there's this innate thing in women that, again, wants to see something grow and blossom into what they believe it can be. They're looking ahead to the future and the potential of it all. All right. And you can recognize the issues and the shortcomings of this man. But the unfortunate reality is that he does not see it the same way. He may not see it the same way, and I feel in my spirit I have to say this. He may not see it the same way because his mama won't let him. and I'm sorry, but here's the thing. There are mothers out there, and I got to say this too, you might be one of them, where they coddle their sons to the point of the son not being able to see any wrong in who they are. They allow their sons to believe that they are the greatest thing walking this earth, and if anyone takes issue with anything about them, that person is the problem, not their son. And it allows these men, or what may be more appropriate, young boys or old boys, I guess would be a better thing to say, to really walk with this blindness, this lack of awareness of how they have not developed as individuals, how they have not developed as men. And so you have this mother, and it may go beyond the mother. He may just have a community around him that does not hold him accountable for his shortcomings. And now here you come along saying, well, you need to do this better, and you need to be like this, and I think you should do this. And even though, yes, your intention may be good, it falls on deaf ears and it goes nowhere. Listen, no one can change if they don't see the need for it. He has to be able to connect with what you're seeing is a problem. So even if you believe, because I do think that the right woman can inspire a man and elevate a man. Hell, just some women just have that ability in general, but I definitely think when a man's really into a woman, it's even more so. But the point is, it is possible for you to give him a nice push, but I would argue that if you see that a push even needs to be given, that is done within the process of friendship. If you can even handle friendship, if you can keep the boundaries the way they need to be in that dynamic, okay, cool. Because it's risky business for most people, so I don't want to suggest it as what you should be jumping straight to. But if you feel led that you can be something impactful for him, all right, do it as a friend. But the minute you cross that line of getting romantic, of giving girlfriend benefits, while trying to change a man who, again, may not even see the error in his ways, it ain't going to work. It simply won't work. The second reason why you cannot change a man is because the potential you see in him is not the reality he believes for himself. So again, it's one thing to not understand what's wrong that even needs to be fixed and improved upon, all right? That's one issue. But then there's the issue of the greater version of him that you believe he can be. And it may not even be like, well, he's a bad communicator, so I think he can be better communicator later. No, it might be, okay, well, he works at this regular job. He seems very complacent, but I know he's a great man and he has great skills, and I believe he could be doing way better than this and make way more money and achieving all kinds of things, right? And that's the potential you see in this man. But for him, his reality is, I'm okay at this level. I'm okay being complacent. I'm okay not making more money. I'm okay not being ambitious. I'm comfortable. And because I'm comfortable, if you try to drag me to that higher place, I will resent you. I will start to be angry with you. I will start to act out in other ways. All right? Because I will now start to resist the pull, the direction you're trying to drag me in. And that's why you see so much conflict with women and men in this dynamic, and some situations where, okay, maybe he allowed you to pull him to that higher level, but now he's not happy there because it does not connect with his reality. His reality of his potential is he's already there, that he's already good, that there's not another level for him to achieve. Some people don't care for that. Some people just don't have it in them. And so you've got to be real with yourself. You've got to be able to embrace a man with the understanding that if he does not change, I will still be happy with this man. And what I mean by that is the man he is right now has to be good enough to where if nothing changes, you could still be happy. But if your happiness, your long-term happiness, if your long-term ability to be with this man is dependent upon him evolving, him changing, then there is no point to enter into that relationship. You are setting yourself up for disaster every single time, and you've got to check yourself. Because it's you that's holding on to that perception. It's not even, in this specific scenario, it's not even him saying, well, I'm going to be better, just, you're going to see, I'm working to, no, I've seen a lot of scenarios where the dude's just like, hey, I don't understand what the problem is, all right? And you keep stressing how you want to see him do better. Don't play yourself. Do not play yourself. All right, so now we are on to the third reason why you can't change him. And that's because he was never that serious about you to begin with. Listen, and I know that can be a hard pill for many of you to swallow. And again, anything I say to you is with love. It's not to hurt you or to make you feel some kind of way, but it is to wake you up to certain realities. And the unfortunate truth is that a lot of the men you're coming across, though they may be great guys, they may be nice guys, they may have a genuine nature to them, we're never trying to be serious with you in this relationship. And because they're not trying to be serious, that's not their intent, then their desire to become someone better for you is not there. And that's what we're talking about when we say change, because we're not talking about them changing to be something worse. We're talking about them changing to be something better. And for them, we got to understand that change requires effort, requires work. And who the hell wants to put in work for something that they don't take that serious, And so if he just came here to have a good time, and not for a long time, then, he's not looking to have to jump through any additional hurdles. He's not looking to have to take on any additional burdens or anything like that. That just was not a part of his plan. And so you've got to recognize when someone is not here with serious intent, when someone is not looking to build something greater with you. Because if they're not, then there's nothing. And listen, again, even in those scenarios where the man is not serious, right? Could change occur? I feel the need to mention this because it just kind of was hitting me. Like, I don't want to ever say that change has never occurred with a man who wasn't serious about a woman. Maybe you opened his eyes to some things and stuff like that, and he actually did become better while with you, and better in a way that he's happy about his better. The problem is, if he did not have serious intent to begin with, then his better will be given to someone else. He will take his better that you instilled in him, that you encouraged him, that you may have even damn near constructed for him with your hands and your blood, sweat, and tears, and then go and reward another woman with it. And many of you have seen it. Some of you have already lived it. And that's why it becomes so important where, again, you've got to recognize, what is this man's real intent? What kind of investment should I allow myself to be making in this individual? And one of the clear ways to know if he's serious is, and this is just one of the ways, is how is he pouring into you? Because again, in a lot of these scenarios where the woman is trying to change the man, if you observe it long enough, what you will notice is a dynamic where she is constantly pouring into him, but him pouring into her, not so much. It ain't really going down like that. She may enjoy that she has a man in her life. He may do a couple little things here and there, but him taking initiative and pouring into her the way that she pours into him, that's typically not what's going on in these relationships, these types of relationships, or situationships, to be more accurate for some people. So you got to recognize, are we having a mutually beneficial situation here? Are we pouring into each other? If yes, then okay, cool. You can proceed with inspiring him to be better and investing in him in that way. But once you can take a step back and realize this is pretty one-sided, then it needs to stop. And you have to understand that no, even the change that may occur will simply be taken and given to someone else. And you will only feel cheated, used, and become more damaged in the process if you try to hold on to that. All right, so now we're going to get to the next point, but real quick, get your copy of The Man God Has For You. Like, really, seriously, get your copy. This is going to help you more than you realize. It's already helped so many thousands of women. There's thousands of reviews on Amazon. It is a best-selling book. You can click the link in the description or in the comment section, or go to www.themangodhasforyou.com. So the next reason why you can't change him is because he is not ready or willing to face the pain. So what do I mean by that? For some of the men that you will encounter or have encountered, their struggle to evolve and change is due to a lack of healing, is due to hurt and disappointment they have faced in the past, and they've allowed this to linger, and it is having a very negative impact on who they are and how they show up in this relationship or in this situation. And so now you asking them to change isn't simply about correcting a behavior. It isn't simply, okay, well, just stop doing this and do this instead. It's going to require them going deeper within themselves and facing a hurt they've been running away from for a long time. And I have to say this, he may even love you. He may genuinely care about you. He may genuinely want to be better for you. But the fear of facing that pain is so strong, it is crippling and paralyzing him. Now, please understand, I don't say that for him to have sympathy in the way that says you should deal with it and just stick with him. No, if he is unwilling to take the necessary steps and do the necessary work, then you cannot remain there, because you remaining there will only shoot yourself in the foot and contribute more to why he has no reason to face the issues. Again, if he's being rewarded by your presence in this relationship, why he's not going to want to have to then deal with something that he feels like he can just keep pushing to the side and y'all just keep moving forward. So I don't want you to sympathize in that way, but I do want you to understand that an individual's struggle to face the pain, and for some of you, you are that individual as a woman. But we won't dwell on that because this video was about changing the man. His struggle to face that is not always about, oh, well, he doesn't care about me, he doesn't love me. This is hard. This is really hard. And it's scary for a lot of people. And this is why you have to understand the choice will never be yours as far as him changing. It has to be his. He has to get to a point where the fear of losing you, or the fear of not having you, or the fear of not living the life that he deserves is stronger than the fear of facing that pain. And unfortunately for some people, it never happens. Some people go to the grave never facing their issues, never healing. And this is why it's so important to understand. We can't just think, well, let me just stay here and it's just going to happen. It's going to happen. No, they've got to be willing. They've got to be willing to make that choice. So just understand that, yes, that is a real situation for a lot of people and for a lot of men, especially since a lot of men have not been taught how to face their emotions to begin with, have not taught how to process things properly. And so it makes it very difficult. But again, they have to do it. And my prayer is that everybody, man and woman, gets the healing they need. But this is a huge obstacle to people evolving and changing as necessary. All right, so that brings me to number 5. And the 5th reason why you can't change them is because you haven't healed yourself. So let me give you a quick story. There was one time I was speaking on tour. I can't remember which city it was. I want to say Dallas. But either way, on my speaking tours, I'll do this whole long, talk about different topics. And then at the end, we do a Q&A. So we did the Q&A, and it's like a picture a hotel conference room, everybody in the middle, whatever, all these rows. And then we have these rows at the end on the side of people just waiting to come up to the microphone and ask their questions. So the one lady finally gets the microphone, and her question is, I've been with my guy and we're going through some stuff and, he really has some issues he needs to heal from. How do you get somebody to heal? How do you get them to be willing to do what they need to do and address those issues? And the first question that came out of my mind was, well, let me ask you something. Have you healed? And she said, no. And I said, well, help me understand. How do you think you can encourage and inspire someone to heal, to do something to do something that's not easy, such as healing, when you haven't done it yourself? That's hard to pull off, all right? For multiple reasons. Because one, again, what example are you setting? If you want anyone to heal in your life, I don't care if it's a man, if it's your mother, your father, your kids, whoever, the best thing you could do is heal yourself first, all right? Set the example first. The inspiration that people get from seeing someone else free themselves from all that hurt and pain, seeing the evolution of who you are right in front of their face, this is more powerful than you saying to them, you got issues, you need to heal, you need to go to a counselor. Show them by doing it for you, all right? But then the other reason why healing yourself first is so important is because whether we realize it or not, when we have not healed and we're dealing with someone who's not healed. So if we're keeping it real here, we have two broken people, all right? I got 4 fingers up, but it's 2 broken people, okay? What we have is a toxic environment, number 1, when you have 2 broken people. And what you have is an individual. So let's just say in this situation, you have this woman, she's trying to get her man to heal. Let's just say he decides to go to counseling. But when you have not healed and you have your triggers and he comes home and he talks about his counseling, or maybe he does something in the process of him trying to figure things out, you will not handle things properly. You will not be effective in the way that you walk with him in his journey. And when I say walk with him, be involved in it, being around, because you're not really walking with him because you're not even doing the healing yourself. But you just being there, watching it, you're very likely to push some buttons. You're very likely to undermine some of his efforts. The same way it happens on the flip side. You have women who go to healing or go to a counselor, try to get help, coming home to a man who's not doing it himself, never did it himself, and all he's doing is poking the bear. All he's doing is making you slip up even more. All he's doing is setting you back. So you're going to do the same thing. So if you want a man to change or to heal, because again, in a lot of cases, the change will require some healing, then you got to do it yourself. But even if it's not healing, even if it is just change, let's just say there's a couple of changes that need to be made, that it ain't even that deep as far as they need healing. All right, are you showing a willingness to change? Are you showing a willingness to correct any behaviors? Are you opening yourself up to whatever criticisms they may have of things that you need to improve upon? You want people to be open to what you got to say, you got to be open to what they got to say. You want them to take your constructive criticism, you got to do the same thing. Again, set the example. And when you do that, you have a higher chance of it. But when you don't, then know that pretty much you're not going to be able to change him. All right, so now we're at the sixth reason why you cannot change him is because you're simply with the wrong man. Listen, I showed you the book, The Man God Has for You. And the reality is that many of you, I said the other day, I posted it, how too many people are in the wrong relationship. Too many people are married to the wrong person. There's a lot of mismatched relationships, so to speak. And so you could do all the right things, but if you're doing it with the wrong person, it still will not produce the right relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like you can work as hard as you want. You can try everything. And I'm not saying don't try, because I do feel like for some people, for some of you to truly release yourself from a relationship, you may need to put forth a certain amount of effort to be able to say, I did my best. I did what I could. All right. So I'm not knocking trying in some capacity, but there's got to be a line drawn, and there's got to be an understanding of, listen, once you come to the realization, if you haven't already, and to be completely honest with you, this being a video for women, you being a woman watching this, you already know. You already know he ain't for you. Or you already know when he is not for you. All right. And unfortunately, so many women, such as yourself, have looked past your intuition, have looked past what you felt spiritually you were being told, and try to make it work. Try to rationalize past these things. Maybe he's a good guy. Maybe you're afraid to be alone. Whatever the case may be. But you knew. You knew. But regardless, whether you know or not, you got to understand that if he's not right for you, he's just not right for you. And all this extra stuff won't make a difference, and when you understand going into it that just because you do X, Y, Z doesn't magically mean this is going to be the right guy in the right relationship, then you can walk away without the lingering damage of more disappointment. And what I mean by that is, I see so many women who give up on love, give up on relationships, because they'll say, well, I did this and I did that. I tried this. I did all these things for this man. I poured so much into this and nothing worked. And so to them, they process it as, there's nothing I can do to win. There's nothing that works with these men. There's nothing that works that will give me the love that I desire. But no, the problem wasn't what you were trying. The problem was who you were trying it with. And when you can understand and recognize the difference between right actions and wrong person, then when it fails with that individual, you will, instead of saying this will never work with anyone, you will say, well, no, this did not work with him. This was more evidence that he was not the guy, that I have to let him go. But I can take these proper, effective behaviors and apply it to a future relationship to give myself a better chance at success. Or I can know that if I find the right man, that if I'm patient to receive the one who's for me, that these things will be effective, that they will work, and that my efforts will not be in vain. So understand that difference, you know what I'm saying? And be willing to let go when he's just not the guy. Now we're at the seventh reason why you cannot change him, and that's because you are not God. Now listen, I know you're not God, but some of y'all be trying to act like you're God, but thinking that you can control somebody else. Now, if you're not a believer, this clearly won't apply to you. But for those of you who are believers, I have to give this example, or this whatever you want to call it. Anyways, there's a lot of people will say, well, God can change this person's heart. And I'll see, and I've coached many women who are married, or couples, even men, who say, well, I'm going to pray for God to change their heart, and God could change their heart like Moses changed Pharaoh's heart. Now, if you're not familiar with the story of Moses and Pharaoh, Pharaoh was the man who, and I'm not even the greatest at telling this story, all right? But he had locked away the peoples. Moses had to go to him. That's what set the people free. That's when they walked the 40 years in the wilderness. All right, you just go look it up. I'm not going to go through the whole story right now. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is because when people love to use that story as God changing Pharaoh's heart, I intervene by saying, listen, I don't believe God changed his heart as in God made him do something. God told Moses what to do to push Pharaoh's buttons that would lead to certain reactions that would then conclude with the people being set free. So he knew how to guide Moses in handling the situation to get a certain result. But he did not make Pharaoh do anything because that would violate free will. So I'm saying this because when you are trying to change a man or change any person and have this belief that either I can do it or I'm just going to pray and God's going to do it, you got to understand that that individual still has a choice in life. They still have free will. And if you want to, if you're hoping for change, then the questions or the prayers should not be, God, change them, all right? God, change their heart. It should be, what do you want me to do in this situation? How do you want me to proceed? Now, here's the beautiful thing. He may tell you to proceed your behind out the situation. Because again, it may be in taking a step back and praying that God shows you, your spirit shows you that, yo, you don't belong here. You don't need to be trying to change nobody. Go. Or it could be you're only here to plant a seed. That's another problem I see with people in general. People of faith is sometimes they want to be the one that says, I changed them, I saved them, I did this. And it's like, yo, chill out. You might just be here to plant a seed. And if you overstep your role in this situation, you could derail the situation. Like, yes, that man may be destined for change, but he may not change for you or while with you because he's not for you. He's for someone else, and there may be another man that's coming up that is for you that you will have your amazing relationship with. But if you get caught up trying to fix and change him, you will miss out on who is for you. So you got to just ask God, okay, what do I do here? How do you want me to proceed and handle this? And then give the rest to God because you're not him. And whatever's going to be will be. But just know that with God, you're going to be good. And know that at the end of the day, you will be better served focusing on your change than anyone else's. Let your evolution be your focus. Let you strive for being the better version of yourself and living the higher quality of life you deserve. Do not waste your energy focused on changing anyone else when you haven't poured that energy into yourself first. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. So many women believe that men do not want commitment. I hear women all the time complaining or voicing their frustration that men don't want to commit, that they can't find men who are